Currently, our 4 hand-selected options include our brand new Drinkline EPDM, which is our replacement to the very popular Purple Snake that we haven't been able to access, Vintner Reserve EPDM, Vintner Lite EPDM, and Extremeflex Beverage with the Easy Glide cover. Now firstly, I'm going to break down the differences in the hose construction, as this is the biggest impact on the hose you end up with as the end user. Wire helix with fabric ply reinforcement, monofilament helix with fabric ply reinforcement, or no helix but multiple layers of fabric ply reinforcement. Our brand new Drinkline EPDM is our latest offering. Drinkline is a discharge hose featuring multiple plies of fabric reinforcement, but no helix at all. When there's no helix in a food transfer hose, A, there's typically less weight, but B, and more importantly in our opinion, no helix is a major part of the construction that can't fail over time, particularly in very demanding environments. And if you take a look at the construction here, you'll see that the hose is very robust. We're going to line it up beside the Vintner Reserve, the Vintner Lite, and the Extremeflex Beverage. As you can see, there's plenty of rubber, there's plenty of fabric reinforcement, and it has a thick outer cover. Now when you put this all together, you get a very strong pliable hose that will last for many, many years of service. So what's the downside? The bend radius of a hose without a helix will never come close to that of one with a wire or even a monofilament helix. This is a discharge hose, so it's not suitable for suction. But this is a 38mm hose. 9 out of 10 breweries that we deal with don't need bends any tighter than this, and this hasn't kinked yet. It's only if you want to go tighter that it will kink. But there's no helix in here that's going to fail when you do kink this hose by pushing it too far. But if you want a hose that you don't need to replace for a very long time, and you don't need super tight bends to transfer your product, this is our pick as one of the best hoses on offer in Australia. Our Vintner Reserve EPDM hose has been one of our most popular hoses, and for good reason. Vintner Reserve is constructed with a monofilament helix and fabric ply reinforcement. What this means is the hose can be run over or pulled tightly around corners beyond its minimum bend radius and will bounce right back into shape. The other point of note about Vintner Reserve is there's plenty of rubber in the construction. And we've seen Vintner Reserve hoses over 8 years in service, still going strong. It is robust, yet very soft and pliable. It coils well, it assembles well, and it's super easy to maneuver. So what's the downside? A monofilament helix hose will provide that kink resistance, but you can't get the same super tight bends that you would from a wire helix hose like the Extremeflex Beverage. Now in your operation, you may not need your transfer hoses to bend any tighter than this. And if that's the case, this hose may be the perfect choice for you because it has been proven to last for years and years in demanding conditions. Our Vintner Lite EPDM is one of our newer hose offerings. As the name suggests, it's a lighter version of the Vintner Reserve. Also constructed with a monofilament helix and fabric ply reinforcement. To make the hose lighter, there is less material used than when compared to Vintner Reserve. As you can see here, it's noticeably thinner, more compact, 150 psi, 250 psi working pressure. But this hose is cheaper and lighter, which is a major consideration when purchasing hose assemblies for any workplace. Now the downside is there is less material. That means that there's less strength and the minimum bend radius is actually larger than the Vintner Reserve. Now this will kink if pushed beyond its limits, but most people don't need more than this in their workplace. And it still bounces back just like Vintner Reserve. So if you don't need super tight bends, but you do want a high quality hose that is light, easy to work with, and very cost effective, Vintner Lite might just be the best option for your business. Our Extremeflex beverage is constructed with the traditional wire helix and fabric ply reinforcement. It's very flexible and it's easy to manoeuvre. And the corrugated Easy Clean cover for added abrasion resistance will glide across your concrete floor. This is by far our most flexible hose on offer. So what's the downside? The benefit of the wire helix and the corrugated cover make this a super flexible hose. That same benefit can be its downside depending on how the hose is treated. A wire helix hose, when run over or pulled around tight corners, can kink. Once you kink a wire helix hose, you have damaged the integrity of the hose and it will never recover. But if you don't use forklifts and you've trained your staff to care for the hoses, then this might just be the perfect hose for you.